So, what are some tips people could improve on for their underwaters?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 8.
On this episode of Sit Down Saturday, we have Conor Ferguson, and we're going to be going through his 100 back in Commonwealth Games. So, Conor is in lane 2 at the top of your screen. It's about to get in the water here. So this is the semi-final from Gold Coast, yeah?
Yeah.
I know you've won world junior medals and before this and international medals, but were you feeling nervous in the semi-final or?
Yeah. This is definitely a lot. I learned a lot during this competition. So, I think this is my second this is my second senior competition as a senior swimmer, if you get me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I put a lot of pressure myself in this meet because I expected a lot, and so I think I was nervous, but the nerves did me well, I think, in this semi-final, but maybe not in the actual final itself. But sure, we can talk about that at the end of the race.
All right. I was just wondering, so obviously some people when they're going into jumping into the pool for backstroke, some people do a dive or some people do a jump. Would you ever do you just do kind of a set routine of getting in, or would you say it's just how you feel, or if the person blows the whistle too fast and you're not ready, would you wait and dive in so you get more time?
Honestly, I just do whatever I feel like, but when I'm behind that block, so I usually just do a big jump and get in because it just helps with the activation in the muscles, the voice.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that actually. Look how far out I am compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we'll keep playing. Okay. All right. So you've come up with everybody, which is obviously the best thing to do because you're in the race from the very start.
Yeah.
Would you say that you'd have you'd be underwater would be one of your strong points in the race?
I think it's got better. I think my underwater is actually quite good, and compared to the rest of the world, I think it is quite good. I think my weakest point is probably the actual flip turn itself. But I'd say it probably was I've definitely done a lot of work again on that rotation speed and stuff, and there's been a massive difference. And it's just tiny things like breakouts that make a difference in underwater for me. So again, I'm still trying to work on that, and I'm working on that at the minute, especially with months taking the last few months off. So it's just getting it ingrained in the muscle memory and stuff. So, but no, I think I was decent. It was a decent start there.
I think the person on that who's blown the whistle held that for quite long.
Yeah.
Trying to throw people off. All right, let's carry. You can see Mitch Larkin.
Just another level. I'm pretty sure he won this by nearly over a second. He was fifth, as in he won the final.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you have been pretty obviously you've just come up about 12, 11.
There, a wee bit short maybe there. Compared to swims recent swims, I'm pushing 15 meters. The short course there, and I mean Flanders as well. It's pushing the 15 meters, so maybe a wee bit short there. So
Yeah. Would you say you came up, or because you were like, I know, out of breath or something like that, or would you say it was just you kind of wanted to get into it, or it was just you just came up because you felt like it? I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I probably didn't count my kicks, to be honest. Like stuff like that. Like again, I was quite young, so I was only really learning all of this. Like how important it is, like how many kicks to 15, and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 turn was pretty good compared to everybody else's in that one. But
It was, yeah. You see, my turn's like inconsistent. That's the problem. I think like sometimes it can be like bang on, and sometimes it can be too short, or too long. So, but that was pretty decent, that one.
Yeah. I'll keep playing. Oh. Okay, I got a question. Okay, so you've just kind of gone on to the lane route
Yeah.
because it's outdoor, or
Outdoor, yeah.
yeah.
Outdoor. Like I this whole competition, I just struggled with outdoor. A funny race, actually, I should have sent it through as well, but is my 50 backstroke.
Yeah.
I think it was the final of the 50 back, and me and Craig McNally, a Scottish backstroker, literally touched each other like underwater. We both like went like out the way like this, and then back in and like hit each other in the on the lane rope, and then went like this again. So it's quite funny to watch. The outdoor swimming's like always been quite difficult because of our environment and our weather in Northern Ireland and Ireland. So
Practice.
yeah, I mean, I think it's that hasn't been like the worst crash I've ever had, and I actually do remember hitting the rope there, and but there's been times I've actually hit the rope and just near enough stopped, like Mare Nostrums especially, like but that was weird. That was a weird one because it was outdoors in the dark. Like you can tell by that final was at like 10 o'clock at night, and it was like pitch black and the spotlights were on, so it was just weird, like something I'd never experienced before, like swimming in the dark. So
Yeah.
I think it was all right, like compared, like if you like, at least I'm not going in a zigzag motion. But again, like it's something to work on if I'm going to do more of these outdoor competitions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So much. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So you came third, which is probably one of the best Northern Irish swims at the Commonwealth Games.
I think it was good, yeah. I think it qualified me fourth for the final, which is why and I'll talk about the final now. It's just why I probably went out. Why I got quite nervous, because this was an opportunity for me to actually medal, and I've talked about this before. And I think when I went into the final, and if I don't know who watched the final, I don't know if you watched the final.
We did, yeah.
But I went out really, really fast, and anyone that watched it knows like how ridiculously fast I went out. And I think that just comes down to like lack of experience, especially in these senior competitions. Like I was 18 years old and I was really excited. Like this is why this was an opportunity for me. The medal at the Commonwealth Games was just has it been done? Has it been done before by Northern Irish?
I don't know. I don't know of any. No.
Not recently, anyway. It hasn't been done recently. So, for at that time, I just remember putting again a lot of pressure on myself, and maybe a bit too much, to the point where I got a wee bit too nervous, and I just took that first 50 way too hard. I think I flipped in second with Mitch Larkin, and I actually remember after the race, Mitch Larkin coming up to me and going, "Fair play, mate," because I took it out so hard. But anyone who doesn't know, I came dead last in that final, with a really, really slow. It was a really time, like it was a really poor back 50, but you live and you learn, you know. It was definitely this is probably one of the biggest learning experiences that I've ever had. That was this competition, and that semi-final was quite good. The way I took it out, nice control, and because I had the energy down the back 50, and I think it was a decent time.
54.48.
Yeah, so I mean it's still a wee bit off my PB there at the time, but it was decent, like, you know.
So you told us about your race and what you thought of it, and so what would you change? I know you've gone over a couple of things, but would there be anything else you'd change in the race? Or
I think, like, if I was to go back and do it again, I mean, it's difficult to change because of the lack of experience in the outdoor swimming. But I can't help but think, watching that, if it wasn't on that lane rope, that it might have been a 54.3 or 54.2. So I think it was a pretty decent race, to be honest. Especially I think it was my first semi-final competition. So, and I didn't have a great heat now. I didn't have a great heat. Again, quite nervous at the time, and so I think the bounce back from that, and then in the semi-final was really, really good. But again, just to go over that, the final itself, I think just controlling that first 50 is so important. It needs to be like, I don't know if you've ever heard about easy speed. It's something that we've worked a lot on in Lauren, and being efficient down the first 50, and it's just being able to control that with the nerves. You know, anyone can jump in the pool and get excited down the first 50, but for me, definitely it was just controlling them nerves and getting easy speed.
Well, what event do you prefer, the 100 or the 200 back?
I don't know. I think it actually depends on the day or the meet. It's kind of weird for me, because I've done a lot more for the 200 this year, and I did quite a lot of put my focus back on the 200 again, and I will be doing it. I'll probably be putting a lot more focus in the 200 this year and the years to come, because I want to get back down to and quicker than my PB that I did 2 years ago in Ellesmere, because I haven't been within nearly 2 seconds of that PB, so it's slower, I think. So it would be good to get back down to there, and if not quicker. So if I was to choose between the two, I really enjoy the 100 because I like going fast. I know I like that. I've always loved going fast, and even with the 52, I love the 50, because it's just right, let's stand up and who's the quickest down the end of the pool. Where the 200 is more, you know, yourselves, like it's a tactic event where everyone has their different tactics in it, you know, and it's very tactical. And so yeah, I'd probably say the 100. I definitely enjoy the 100 a lot more, but I think I have to learn to enjoy the 200 again.
Yeah. All right. So you've been back training in Dublin and now in Bangor. What's it like being back, and are you enjoying it?
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I think mentally and physically, like, I think physically it was really easy to stay in shape over lockdown. You know, you just, as long as you're at some point and you're working hard and you're not skipping any sessions, like, well, I wouldn't do that anyway. You're physically, you're going to be in good shape when you come back, you know, unless you just have very lazy. So I think in regards to, like, physically, the feel for the water was a bit weird coming back, maybe for the first week, but again, we've been doing this since we're like 8 years old. You know, you never lose that, and you just get that again a week back, and you feel fine again. You know, so I think with regards to that, it hasn't been too tough. Now I haven't actually done anything too challenging yet. I'm only getting back into it, so I might regret saying that, but mentally, I think it's definitely been good. Like, I think I needed it. It was tough. I think being so like mentally prepared for Olympic trials and being so confident the first time in a long time for to qualify for the Olympic Games and then to be cancelled and then for training to be cancelled and then being out of the pool for so long. It was just I think it was tough. It definitely took a toll on me a wee bit. But I got over it quite quickly, and now being back into training is definitely it's healthier. I just feel happy, and when I'm swimming. And I don't know about you guys, but when there's something about swimming, like it's like a bit of a release and of endorphins, and you just feel good about yourself after every session.
Yeah. So what's your favorite competition?
Favorite competition, without a doubt, has to be that Commonwealth Games, and that's why I chose that swimming, because it was such an enjoyable like environment. I think I've always enjoyed like multi-sports environments where when you finish swimming you can chill out and watch the other sports, and it also means you can meet new people and make new contacts, and that's always great. Like especially when everybody's doing their own thing in their sport and trying to achieve the best and get to that whatever that end goal is, if it's Olympics or Commonwealth or whatever. But there's something about like them multi-sports competitions that make it so enjoyable, and having such a good group of guys around me as well, and makes it even better. So definitely that Gold Coast Commonwealth.
Yeah. And so in previous races, have you made any mistakes? And if so, what have you learned from them?
Yeah. Again, it's having probably for me the biggest like mistakes and learning curves. I wouldn't even. There were mistakes but I'd look at them more as learning curves, and it would be, being too excited. Like like I said, I love swimming fast. I love the 50, I love the 100, and as you get older, you learn quickly that you can't blast down that first 50, and the same in the 200 as well. You can overrate in the first length, and it's not about that. It's about efficiency and swimming fast but being efficient at the same time. And that, again, is something I've had to learn this year, and just take a step back from right. I don't need this. I don't need to work so hard. I just need to be more efficient, sort of thing. So that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned in recent years.
Okay. So we'll just go back onto like when you're swimming outside. So what would you focus on when you're trying to stay in the middle of the lane?
I think it's definitely easier when there's no clouds in the sky. But I can't even remember. Like it's been so long since I raced an outdoor pool. But I do sort of definitely have a bit more awareness of where I am in the pool. And you know what? I actually think that helps to an extent with being efficient, so that you don't have the need to overrate, and you're just keeping strong in your strokes, because you don't want to go. It's just keeping balance, and backstroke is about keeping balance, so you don't end up on one side of the pool. So probably just keeping a balance throughout the stroke, like each arm pulls like the same sort of strength, if you get me. Sometimes I would keep an eye on the lane rope, but to be honest, I think that's the attitude sort of that I took going in the Commonwealth Games, that I would keep my eye on the lane rope. But I think doing that actually made me swim towards the lane rope. So again, something I'm working on, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of opportunity to work on it. But I'll be lucky. Like there isn't many senior international. I think it's a rule now with FINA that there's no senior international competitions can be held outdoors because of backstroke.
Okay.
Now with Commonwealths and stuff, I think it's slightly different, but that's the FINA rule. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so obviously Peter Hill is very loud. So can you hear him when you swim? I thought Peter Hill is Colin's coach, for people who don't know.
I think I have heard him a few times. I I definitely heard him at European Short Course. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, he was my coach there as well. I heard him as well. My friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Dave McCulloch as well. I heard it. Definitely heard him. He's got a bit of a distinctive shout.
Would you say it like helps your race, or
uh,
if you can hear him?
I think it probably does. Because you need all that support, down that back 50. I've always said that, team support down the back, that back, last 15 where everybody's hurting. All the support you can get is a positive, So, hearing my coach, hearing teammates cheering for me definitely helps, So.
So what are some tips that people could improve on for their underwaters?
I did quite a lot of fin swimming, a lot of power kick this year, and we did it in Dublin too, and it helped when I was with Dublin and the Ellesmere as well. Was like a lot of tether stuff. That resisted kick's really good. But I think kicking under fatigue as well, because you're going to be under the fatigue when you're in the race, especially in 200 meters and anything above. So probably working on that, and then as well just being consistent, off them mauls and being consistently knowing your kicks to 15. I think I'm around. It depends where I am in my cycle. So if I'm not rested, I think it's around 10 kicks until I'm 15. But when I'm rested or tapered, it's about 8 kicks. So again, knowing that and knowing what it is when you are tapered. Is so important, and then being consistent in your training and consistently hitting them kicks off each wall definitely helps.
How have you improved your mental game over the years?
I think I think it's a good question. I think for me it's around confidence. And I think I lacked in confidence for a while and belief in myself, because I think I went through quite a lot of adversity that contributed to a slight lack in confidence. So for me to sort of, again, take a step back from it all and regain that confidence and again, I think that comes with trust, in your team and what you're doing, and that was my biggest sort of mental gain this year, knowing that 2 weeks, or was it 3 weeks out from before we heard about the Olympic trials being cancelled. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
About 3 weeks. Knowing, being confident that in 3 weeks' time I was going to be able to stand up and qualify, that's the biggest key, and for me, that was a massive thing. I think another thing was, visualization, being just knowing what it feels like to go down that first 50, if it is easy speed, and what it's going to feel like coming home, and how many stroke counts and all that, and all how that feels. I think visualization is so good for that. And then again, finally, on that mental thing, having a goal, and I've said this in all my talks, having a goal and having objectives to help you reach that goal is so important. And it's something I've worked on a lot this year, because it keeps you motivated. So that's probably my sort of key tips for keeping mentally strong, in this game, because it's a bloody tough game,
Yeah. Okay. So what's your favorite drill for backstroke?
Well, I don't actually know the name of the drill. We just call it shoulder touch. For backstroke, I'm not sure if you've ever seen me doing it or ever seen anybody do it, but Liam Hancock showed me it a number of years back on a Swimsy Expo, and he told Peter Hill about it when I was in Larne. And basically all you do is when you're doing your backstroke, you just touch your shoulder, and it's all about keeping the core engaged, and you're working on your catch as well at the same time. So I quite like that. There's loads of other drills that are great for backstroke, but that would definitely be my go-to drill.
Well, we'll go into the quickfire questions now. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I'm allergic to cats.
Favorite food?
Steak. Nice steak.
Favorite sport? Not swimming. So what you play, like to play, and what you'd watch?
I probably like the what I love watching. I love watching the football at the minute, especially Man United doing so well, like coming back. It's definitely enjoyable, and I love watching boxing and the MMA and sport. I'd probably be playing rugby, because my family's rugby orientated, and their background would be in that. All my brothers play. My dad plays it, and his father, so it's sort of ran in the family a bit. So that's what I probably.
Okay. Pineapples on pizza? Yes or no?
No way.
Favorite Netflix show?
Oh man. I actually don't watch a lot of Netflix. I watch a few. Not really watch. I don't really watch shows, to be honest. I quite like The Office. It's not Netflix. But
Okay.
I watched that a few times. So
Max bench?
105. I just recently got that in lockdown. But it's pretty big, like so.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Instagram story.
So describe yourself in one word.
Competitive.
Okay. And then what do you eat before training? So we'll say morning training.
Morning training, I don't actually eat a lot. I would eat quite a lot for dinner or supper, so that I don't have to eat a lot before morning, because my morning training is quite early. You know, it's a 5:45 start, so I don't eat a lot before swim. So yeah.
Well, that's it. So
thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
And do you want to shout anybody out? We'll put your social media stuff in the description. So
Teammates and Peter Hill and my coaches, they've done a brilliant job this year. My sponsors, Arena Water Instinct, for the continued support, and Cross Castrum again for the continued support. And it's been a great year, and let's make it another great year. So.
okay. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.
And please subscribe.